All right, I'm going to show you how to make some of your very own homemade applesauce, unsweetened. And it's so good, you won't miss the sugar, trust me. So, right here, I have 8 Fuji apples, Fuji brand apples. I like Fuji's for applesauce because the apple itself is naturally very, very sweet. And when you cook it down, it just intensifies that sweetness so it doesn't need any sugar. It's perfect. So what we're gonna do, all I do is wash the apples and want to peel on, remember, because of all the antioxidants and all the good stuff in there. So what I'm gonna do is just cut around the core, okay? So obviously the core is right in the middle. So we're just gonna kind of cut right around it. And as you can see where my knife is? It's kind of like, what is that? Maybe an inch or so away from the core. You're just gonna cut around, just cut straight down beside it, okay? And miss the core completely. And you're just gonna do the same thing on all 4 sides. Just cut down and around. And then I just make it flat since I have a flat side now. I just cut that. And there you go, you completely missed the core. And then because I don't like to waste all this around the edge, I cut that off too. Just like that. That's still some good apple in there. Okay? And now I'm just gonna put this in my slow cooker. That's how I make my applesauce. Because it's super quick. Well, it's not quick, but it's really easy to do. So I just kind of cut it up again, just cut each piece in half and then in quarters or so. Just so the smaller the pieces, the faster that it breaks down. You know, if you put like just big chunks in there, it's going to take longer for it to break down and cook. So I like to help it along by making it smaller. All right, so I'm just going to keep doing this with the rest of my apples here. Into the pot. Okay, perfect. Now, next step, I have about a half a cup of water here, and I'm just going to pour it over the apples. And what this does is just help everything break down. It helps the apples break down and not to burn. It needs some sort of moisture in there to help it cooking. Next thing, let's do cinnamon. Now, I add a lot of cinnamon because cinnamon actually helps bring out the sweetness in the apples. So for about this much, actually I can't even get it in there. About this much, I'm gonna actually add a tablespoon of cinnamon. I know that seems like a lot, but it's necessary, especially when you're not adding any sugar to it. Sprinkle it on top. Perfect. And then I have some nutmeg here, some ground nutmeg. And I'm gonna use about a teaspoon of nutmeg. If you like nutmeg, if you really like nutmeg, you can add more if you want. Again, it's to taste, whatever you prefer. Just sprinkle that over. There we go. Last but certainly not least, I have vanilla bean here. Now this one I've used, and this is what I do. I use my vanilla beans to death, almost, because they're actually pretty expensive, so you want to get the most out of them. So I actually use this when I scrape the seeds out, but we can still use it. There's still vanilla flavor in the pods itself, so I'm just going to drop the whole pod into the apples, like that. And actually I'm going to add one more. I have another one over here. I'm going to split it down the center, just like that one was split. Just like that. And this one actually still has a little bit of seeds in it. So I'm going to scrape those out and put them on the apple. See that? So you get nice little, here, let me flip this apple so you can see it. See that? You get nice little specks of vanilla in your applesauce, which is very nice. Now, of course, if you don't have vanilla beans, please don't go out and buy them just because I'm using it in my applesauce, okay? You can use vanilla extract. However, you want to wait until after you're done cooking your applesauce. The reason why you do that is because it cooks out the vanilla a little too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to add it when it's warm, because then it kind of cooks, it kind of warms up the vanilla extract, which is great. But if, you know, this is going to be cooking for hours, you know, so by the time you get to it, the vanilla extract is kind of gone, you know? So make sure you add it at the end. And you want to add, for about this much, you want to add about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of vanilla extract to that, okay? So that's it. That's all we're going to do. So we're just going to put the lid on. I'm gonna set it on high, and it's gonna take about 3 to 4 hours to cook. And basically what you're looking for is it's gonna bubble up and the apples are gonna be really, really soft. So much so that you can mush them, right? You can also put it on low, and that's gonna take about anywhere from 6 to 8 hours for that to cook. All right guys, it's been about 8 hours. Take a look at our applesauce. All good. Look, it smells really good too. So I'm just gonna take out the vanilla beans that we put in there earlier. Just gonna fish them out. But remember, at this point, if you're not using vanilla beans, this is the point where you would add the vanilla extract. Okay, now I just have a potato masher here. I'm just gonna mash it up a little bit and break up the apple skins. That's good. All right, now I'm just gonna put it in a container like this one. And then once it's cooled, I can put it in the freezer. Right, once you fill up your container, you're just gonna let it cool completely. And then you can just put a lid on your container and put it in the freezer, and you'll have applesauce all the time. You won't have to buy a commercial brand ever again. And so much tastier and healthier for you.